Hi, I'm Paul Johnston. Welcome to Two Wheels, and on this week's show I'll take a ride on BMW's new F650 CS, a machine which they hope will tempt people into the world of biking. And special guest presenter Jane Omorogbe, ex-gladiator Rio, travels to Mallory Park to meet some racers of the future, 11 to 18-year-olds taking tuition from top racers John Reynolds and Sean Emmett. And later I'll meet a man who has no choice but to ride his bike through all kinds of weathers. He is an advanced motorcycle instructor. If there's one bike manufacturer you could never accuse of following fashion, it's this lot, BMW. And just to prove the fact that they like to be different, they've introduced this, their new F650 CS, or the Scarver. Scarver is short for street carver because it's designed to have the ability to cut through busy town traffic with ease. More than that though, it's designed to attract new riders. It's powerful enough to cope with everyday situations, but it's not too powerful that it would frighten the novice. It's certainly very comfortable and the wide bars give a nice relaxed riding position. The styling is different, which means it's guaranteed to attract interest wherever it goes. So let's have a closer look at the interesting bits then, and for me, all this bit here, this is the interesting and very, very different bit of this bike. Because all this is plastic, well, nothing unusual there, you say, yeah, we've seen that before, lots of bikes have plastic petrol tanks these days. Yes, they do, except that this is not a petrol tank, because where the petrol tank normally would live is a big hole, which at the moment is being filled by this sort of soft bag here, which you get when you buy the bike. But there are a number of options, and some quite smart options available for that, and I'll show you them in a little while. Also on here we've got these grab rails. That's what they are grab rails, which also serve to retain this bag, as I say. But the grab rails, now they're quite good actually, or they could be quite good if they were used a lot, because you'll know if you ride a sports bike with a pillion on the back, when you brake hard, sometimes if the pillion's not hanging on tight enough, they tend to ride up your back, they sort of slide and almost come over the top. Well, on this the pillion can lean round you, which is very nice, depending on who your pillion is, and they can brace themselves on these, so it stops them riding over the top of you and riding up your back. Down here, these side panels, lots of people like these. I've heard some people say, oh yeah, that looks quite classy, doesn't it, with these little vents in the side here and the nice big logo there. Well, I personally think that they look like a leftover from a BMW Z3 car, so I'm not particularly in love with them. Down here, of course, the motor, 650cc 4-stroke single-cylinder motor, about 50 brake horsepower, nothing outstanding there, and we've seen that before. It's the same engine as they use in their F650 GS, which is a similar sort of bike to this, similar sort of size, only it's a lot taller, and really that's the sort of baby version of their 1150 GS, their big sort of giant trailer. Confused? Yes, well you will be in a minute, because these sort of styling things are carried through here onto these side panels, which is very sort of subtle, quite nice. Behind this side panel and under this seat is the petrol tank, because look here, there's the petrol filler cap, so you fill it up just like a car in the side there, and the petrol tank is actually under the seat. In fact, I can show you that. I'll flick the seats off here and you can have a look. There's all the gubbins for the petrol tank under there, the fuel pump, etc, etc, which means that there's no room under the seat. You've just got a little tool roll there, so you don't actually get any room to put anything under the seat, but you've got a big hole up there, remember, so that's not a problem. One thing I do like about this, I have to say, is this single-sided swing arm. And while we're down here, look, belt drive. Final drive is a belt drive, which is great because they reckon that this belt won't need replacing for 30,000 miles. And I think, if you think about it, not many bikes actually do more than 30,000 miles in their lifetime. They fall to bits before that, or they blow up, or they crash, or whatever. So that's probably there forevermore, as long as this bike's on the road. And this is the great thing about them, look at that. I can do that. No mucky oil, no muck to get your hands dirty, no spraying your chain with lubricant, no adjusting it, nothing. There it is, nice belt drive. My very first thoughts when I climbed aboard the Scarver were that it had no power. It felt flat, but the more I ride it, the more I realise that it's just about spot on for the market it's aimed at. It handles superbly. The 5-speed gearbox is very positive, the steering is fairly sharp and responsive, and manoeuvrability in busy traffic is a piece of cake. In fact, it's got all the things a newcomer to bikes should be looking for. which includes an insurance scheme whereby over 26-year-olds can have fully comp insurance for £200 and 21 to 25-year-olds can have it for £400. Now, if that doesn't sell this bike, then I don't know what will. Styling and colour schemes aside, this is a cracking little machine. Now then, it's time for some clever stuff, some very clever stuff I think, and some important stuff as well, the price. Now, the basic bike will cost you £5,400 and this is what you get. You get exactly what you see here, but that's only the start. You can go mad because here's that soft little pouch that I showed you before which comes off, and that's a rucksack, so you can carry your things around with you in a rucksack. If you want to go a little bit more upmarket, you can fill this hole up here with a hard case, and here's the hard case there. That clips in there like that. I won't bother clipping it in properly, but it does clip in there, and that opens up there and you can put your bits and pieces in there, and then when you leave the bike you can take it with you, and there is a handle there which comes up like that, and you can carry that around with you if you so wish. That hard box like that will cost you 130 quid. Now then, if you want to go really posh, you can have the executive model like this. It says audio system. It's not quite an audio system because all it is really is a pair of speakers. In here you have the facility to put your own sound system, your own CD player, a mini disc player, MP3, whatever you want. You can charge up your mobile phone with that as well. The whole thing is powered from the bike. Speakers there, and you've got volume up and down on there. So quite trendy, but you have to supply your own music player if you like, although they give you the speakers and the controls. That will cost you £290. 290 quid, and yeah, there's more. We've not finished yet. Look at this now. This is an ingenious thing. What on earth is that? Well, I'll show you what that is. Get my helmet here. When you leave the bike, you can put your helmet in there. You can just push these into these little holes down there, which is actually nowhere near as awkward as I'm making it look, but they go in there like that. That clips on, and the whole thing tightens like that, and a kind of ratchet. And you can leave your helmet in there safe and sound when you leave the bike. This looks a bit flimsy. It just looks like rubber. It's not rubber, there is steel in there, so don't worry, you could do that, leave it. Nobody could come along and cut this. It really is quite safe and secure, and I think that's ingenious. I think that's the way to describe that. There are even more options. Oh, by the way, 65 quid that'll cost you if you fancy that. More options, as I say. You can have a single seat version. Seat finishes there and there's a rack on the back. Spend a few quid on that. You can have ABS. You don't need ABS. The brakes are perfectly good enough. It's not a big heavy machine. It doesn't take a lot of stopping. But if you want to go mad, put ABS on it. 345 quid. Heated grips, which this one has got, and I'm glad to say today I really did need them and I felt the benefit from them. 175 quid. And loads of other bits and pieces. There are rumours that they're going to even have their own branded clothing, the 650 CS branded clothing, so you can even look like your bike. Ooh, would you want to look like this? I'm not sure. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. It probably will attract a few people, certainly with the insurance discounts. That will probably bring a few riders in, but I'm not sure that the beauty is in my eye just yet. If you like talking bikes, then why not join in with our bike forum? You can find it on the Men & Motors website, and here is the address. It's www.menandmotors.co.uk.
125 bikes are best known for their scooter commuter engines, perfect bikes for your novice rider. But put it in the hands of an enthusiastic teenager, give them an empty track and expert tuition from a world-class superbike rider, and you have the makings for a future champion. So I've come here to Mallory Park in Leicestershire on this wet and windy day just to see for myself the talent that's out there. Here we are at Mallory Park. It's wet and it's windy and the weather seems to be holding off a little bit. We're trying to find a British superbike rider for next year. All the riders are on bikes ranging from 125s to 500s and they're all from 14 to 18. The testing 1.3 miles features the awesome Gerrard's Bend, a real challenge for any youngster in these conditions. Well, that's the end of today's session at Mallory Park. Let's go down to the pits and get some reactions. Now I've caught up with Robin, who's the organiser of today's event.
Yes, the idea was to advertise in the Motorcycle News and a couple of other motorcycle publications, and we also did get the mailing list from the ACU and from the British Championship organisers. So all the British Championship riders, all the under 18 British Championship riders actually got a letter on the desk as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but the majority of them, we had hundreds of applications, so yes, I would say 95% of them picked up the advert from the Motorcycle News.
That's what I was getting at, the amount of people that you've had apply. How on earth did you get down to just 50 people?
Very, very difficult. I mean, we've gone on experience to start with. We've been our first year. We're obviously looking for two young riders who we can develop. Our plan during the year, because we've got an awful lot of applicants from Mini Moto, for example. Unfortunately, November the 29th and a wet, cold, horrible, windy day isn't conducive to learning people how to ride a 125. So we also plan that we will have a day during the summer where we can invite these young Mini Moto riders, who are the tomorrow's racers, and introduce them to riding a 125 in hopefully dry, sunny climes.
So, just point of interest, ladies, listen, have you had any girls apply?
We have. We've got 2 girls coming tomorrow. Remember, this is Thursday, the first day, but yeah, we've got, I think there's 2, there might be 3 even coming tomorrow, definitely 2. And there's nothing up with that. There's a girl riding a Grand Prix 250 at the moment, a German rider. And when I was Grand Prix riding, there was a Finnish girl called Rone, and she was very quick at that time. So yeah, if you're a girl, it doesn't matter. If you're quick, you'll get the breaks.
Now, before we break for lunch, I've managed to catch up with 2 rookies. We've got Chet here, who's 15, and Ashley, otherwise known as Ash, who's just 13. And they're incredibly different in size, but you already know each other, don't you?
Yeah. We met with the ACU Academy because I've just been accepted this year. Ash was put in last year.
You've been in for a while?
Yeah, just a year.
Oh, just a year. Tell me a bit about this academy then, when you're already in.
It really helps a lot. You get free track time because I'm only 13. I can't do a lot of track days.
Right.
So, and you go to sliding days where you just learn to slide the bike and keep the power on.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. Is this just for youngsters, or couldn't I turn up to one of these things?
You have to do your test. You have to see if you're good enough around the track, and then you go for an interview.
Oh, okay.
They try to pick you.
So what have you got out from today then, so far?
I find it really interesting with the fitness and diets, because I have been wondering how I should be taking my diet and fitness further to improve my racing, and it's helped a lot.
Yeah, I came into one of the sessions and I saw the physio bit, which is really interesting because it's very sport specific. Have you seen those balls before that they were working on?
Yeah, because you go to like something like this at the ACU Academy, and they're at the same place.
Oh, okay. So this afternoon you're going to go out on the track?
Yep.
Looking forward to that?
Not really, because I don't really like the wet.
Oh, don't you?
Not
You
really.
prefer the dry?
Yep.
But then when you come along to today, they're going to teach you how to ride better in the wet, aren't they, and improve your skills, so...
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And you've brought your own bikes with you today?
Yep.
What have you got?
I got a Honda RS125.
Okay, and you've got?
I've got the same sim.
Cool.
I think it's a year older or newer, one of the 2.
Okay, well we'll keep our eyes out for you. I guess you want to go and get your dinner now, so
Yep.
make sure you eat healthy, don't forget.
Well, there'll be more from Jane and the guys at Mallory Park after the break. Also still to come, we get some winter riding tips from our advanced instructor, Rone Dixon. Welcome back to Two Wheels. Very shortly I'll be chatting with an advanced motorcycle instructor and he'll give us some winter riding tips. But first it's back to Jane and the guys at Mallory Park.
Welcome back to Two Wheels and Mallory Park. Now I've caught up with these rookie racers who have already had their tuition in nutrition and physio, but before they're let out on the track they've got some expert help from these British Superbike riders, namely Jeremy McWilliams, Sean Emmett and John Reynolds. Let's go and have a listen to hear what they're saying.
I could learn a lot here. If you get into
I've come into the paddock because, as usual, the people that often do the hardest work are often forgotten about. Now, I've met up with Sheila and Michael, who are parents of how many children?
Three.
Three. You've got 6 altogether, but 3 are racing. Tell me, what's your involvement? Because you don't just like be a normal dad, are you? You're the mechanic, organiser.
Just mechanic and organiser and driver. Trying to keep things right at home. You know, at home also you have to do a lot of repairs.
How did your children get into racing in the first place?
They went. Probably I did race myself, you know, and then they just followed on through and went to junior motocross, from junior motocross on through to tarmac. They always wanted to go to tarmac. I was hoping they would go to tarmac, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And Mum, what's your role in all of this then?
Chief cook and bottle washer.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, just generally keep the timekeeping for them, help them out when they're qualifying, and just generally sort of coordinate everything together. That's
Do
it.
everything.
Well, I suppose that's it. Well, it's me they always look to, I suppose, to pack, and if you don't put the extra things in, they're not in. They never, you know, that's the thing, isn't it? If I'm not there, it's not there too. The socks and all the basics.
The woman keeps it together. And what about today's event? What do you think they're getting out today? They all look so happy.
Well, an event's not worth it coming to if they don't gain something from it, and from this here they will gain, I think.
So now you've got to prepare the bike for Eugene to get out and have a go.
Yeah.
So I guess we should leave you to start it up and get it all nice and warm. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, during their session on the track, the guys are allowed to come in if they want a breather or just have a chat to the rest of their team. This is Daniel. Hiya.
Hiya.
So, how have you got on today so far?
I've been out in the wet, but it's a bit slippy around Gerrard's and up at the hairpin where the leaves are on the track.
You look all kitted up, so obviously this isn't a first time thing for you. Have you got much experience in racing already?
Yeah, I used to do mini motoring and I've done a bit of motocross.
Okay. How old are you now?
14.
So how long have you been riding for?
The 125, about 6 months.
And is there much difference? How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but same principle as the little bike.
What is the chance, my old mate, of me having to go on your bike?
Yeah, fine, as long as you don't fall off.
Fall off? Me? Cheap. Well, it's the end of the day and I finally caught up with the experts themselves, Sean and John. Tell us a bit about what you were doing today and what you think of the guys that have come on board.
Well, the talent's been absolutely awesome. I mean, the conditions have been appalling, really. Been no crashes and they've impressed us.
Were you expecting crashes then?
Well, I must admit, yeah, I mean, the pressure's on, you know, there's a massive deal at stake, you know, they've got a fantastic ride next year if they get it. And, I mean, they want to impress, I'm sure. And well, I was expecting some crashes, but it's been great.
Were you expecting this kind of level of experience and, you know, expertise, or were you thinking maybe they'll be a bit worse?
No, I mean, we all know the young kids. I mean, when you're getting kids in from 14 to 17, you know they're not going to have done much racing. There's been no crashes and they've all been really enthusiastic. So, yeah, it's been a great day.
It's been really interesting to talk to them, actually, because a lot of them were saying they've learnt a lot from the nutritional chats as well, which I was thinking, young lads talking about things other than, you know, bikes. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, nutrition's it's a bacon sandwich, isn't it? That's the new style. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what happens now. Science is coming into sport and people start looking deeper into everything, fitness and training and nutrition and so on. So, yeah, it's good. It's just it's teaching them the right way to go about the sport.
And so you're back again tomorrow and you've got another 25 people to have a look at.
Yeah, that's right. You know, there's been some good riders here. We've seen 4 or 5 riders that I think have got a lot of potential, and we'll just see what happens tomorrow.
So you've got some people's names clocked and logged in your head, ready to put them down on paper and think, perhaps.
Yeah, a few of the mums are quite nice actually. So yeah, I've got a few phone numbers.
I think we better just leave it there. Well, that's it from me at Mallory Park. I have had a fantastic day. I've met some very enthusiastic and talented youngsters, but there's a bit of daylight left and a bit of spare track time. So all that's left for me to do is have my own practice session. Somebody get me down from here, please!
Now, continuing our theme of talking to people who have no choice but to ride in the winter, I'd like you to meet my mate Rone Dixon. Rone is a motorcycle instructor. Is that your full title, Rone?
It is. Advanced motorcycle instructor for Rospa.
For Rospa, right. So you ride in all weathers?
Everywhere. I even took my test in the snow.
Did you really?
Yeah, honestly, I took my test in the snow.
What should we, you know, pay particular attention to on the bike itself?
Well, basically, I mean, before you go out on the bike anyway, whether it's rain or shine or sunshine, you should obviously do your checks, brakes, lights,
Make sure everything's clean. Bit of grit on your discs. Obviously, it needs to be sort of like washed down and that sort of thing. Every now and then, when you actually tend to ride in the wet, or basically if it's dry and it's cold, it tends to be a lot of salt on the road. Just carry a rag underneath your seat, and if you stop, and just give your disc a quick rinse. Basically, it's just safety measures and self-confidence. That's what it. If you've got the confidence on your bike, you're going to be a confident rider.
Do you ever get fed up of riding in the winter?
No. Yeah, if you're a keen biker, you just basically go out in all rain or shine. I mean, there is quite a few lads out there that will go out and have a good ride out because they've got proper clothing and that sort of thing. But it gives you more confidence when it's dry. When you go out in all conditions.
You would encourage people to ride through the winter because you say it puts them in good stead come the summer.
Yeah,
keeps you in the groove, I suppose you might say.
Yeah, it keeps your level of riding 100% top notch all the time.
That's all from Two Wheels for this week, but join us next week when Jeff travels from the Midlands to Milwaukee. Well, he gets as far as Milton Keynes anyway, on Triumph's new Bonneville America, and the Two Wheels cameras will bring you all the action from this year's Manchester Motorcycle Show.